Hey kids, Mr. Glenn here. We're going to show you really quickly how to make a repeating pattern. Now I've got some basic shapes here and I've got this that is going to pretend to be my house, okay, my building. So I'm going to keep my building very simple. And what I want to do is I want to create a lattice work of what we might have on the side of a building. I'm going to use these three shapes here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them across this front piece here, this front face here of my building, okay? And I'm going to cover the entire face here in this lattice work. And what I'm going to do is just repeat by using my options. So what I've done is I've made three blocks that are the same size. They are no taller than 1 millimeter, no smaller than 1 millimeter. And I'm going to repeat these, and I made them into a simple group at the moment. They're not grouped themselves, so they're individual pieces. I can group them in a moment. But I grouped them temporarily just so I can move them around. So when I do this, I can pull my shapes apart with my option key, and it creates that second and third shape of the same thing you want to make. So when I select my shapes here, I'm going to go and pick these up and put them so that the pieces are overlapping here, and they will start to make that pattern that looks like fence work, where you have that those slats that go between the two pieces. So what I'm going to do is use my work plane tool, which is a W key, and I'm going to put my work plane just 1 millimeter up here, and I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut this shape out. The reason I'm going to cut it is because I need to go and place it on here. Onto the work plane, I click onto the work plane, you can hear my mouse clicking, and I paste it onto there, and now it's automatically joined, and as I pull that over, I now have that lattice work that gives that sort of what we'd call sort of a tenon join, and where they kind of join together in a kind of half mouth here. So next job is I want to go and pull this out and use my option key again, and this time I now have that lattice work working together for me, and it's working quickly so that I can go and arrange it so that these gaps here are now the same as these gaps here, and now I have a whole piece that I can go and create and go and offer up to the edge here. And when I offer it up, I can just go and pull my pieces in like this, match it so it says 84 millimeters across there. Let's go and click this and see what I've got here. 84, 84. Now, how am I going to pick this up and put it together? So very quickly, you can see that I haven't grouped it yet. So I'm going to go and group this and have my piece, because I know it's going to fit on the other side now. Also, I can build it up the wall. So I'm going to go and group those together. I can always ungroup them later. And what I'm going to do is just make it vertical. When I grab this, I'm going to use my rotation tool here, and I need to go and turn it by holding shift. So if I don't hold shift, it's too free, okay? And as I pull it out now, you can see it goes 1 degree. As I get closer in here, you can see it just comes into the quarters. Can you see that? But you can very quickly, just by holding shift, and it automatically snaps like that. But you can just bring your mouse down and you can automatically do it like this if you want, okay, without holding shift. But I prefer to hold shift because it's just faster and snappier. Now I can just go and cut this in a second, because I'm going to use my work plane again and put it to the side of my building. And this time I'm going to go and cut this and paste it onto my edge, and now it should be joined onto the side of my building like this. When you fine-tune things, you're going to need to use your arrow keys now. I'm going to go and bring my snap grid down to a tenth of a millimeter, just so that it moves very nicely here, and get my precision and my tolerances right down to almost 0. There. So now you can probably guess what I'm going to do next. Is I'm going to use my option key again, because I've got it glued now to this side of the building. Use my option key, and it should allow me to go, and if I just go and undo this, has it got a piece in there? Yes, it has. And it should allow me now to go and use this tool here. Go and snap it up. What I might do though is, because it's only going to go halfway, it's not going to complete it. What I might do is change my design slightly and pull this out there, and I should be able to go and pull this one out by itself. And then I've got a repeating pattern for the outside of my building, like that, just in 3 or 4 different shapes. Okay. Now, if you are thinking the way that I'm thinking now, I can just go and grab my shapes, group them together, use my Option key again, and this time I've now got the back side of this, so the rear building side here. I can go and snap that and offer that up like so. And you can probably guess what I'm going to do next is put it to the sides. But what I'm going to do next is go and make some windows for us in different shapes. Then on the top, I'm going to go make a fence. Right, people, I hope that inspires you to make some good repeating patterns. As always, good luck.